Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs Show, where we empower entrepreneurs to overcome the challenge of work-life balance, burnout, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, build new habits, create new rituals, new routines. I'm your host, Muhammad Faraj, and today our topic is how being fully present can transform your focus, productivity, and daily life. There was a time in my life where I struggled a lot in this area by being present. I wasn't being fully present. Whenever I attended any events or activities or at the gym or at my old job, whenever I had to meet up with people, whenever I had meetings, conferences, whenever I talked to people or meet up with my friends, with my family, with the people that I love, that I care in my own entrepreneurial life, I would find myself drifting around and I would find myself constantly being distracted by so many noises, by so many thoughts, and I wouldn't be present. I would not be listening to the people or to the meetings. I would not be listening to a lecture. So I struggled a lot in this area in my life. I struggled a lot with this bad habit. And this habit was costing me missing so many opportunities. It was costing me to be disconnected. It was costing me to not communicate with the people that I was surrounded with. So I wasn't learning, I wasn't fully understanding, I wasn't being present with people, I wasn't knowing exactly what is going on, what is happening, and this was costing me a lot. Even people around me, they were feeling frustrated, sometimes angry, sometimes anxious, sometimes frustrated, and they felt like I'm not respecting them, I'm not listening to them, so they would feel disrespectful, and this would lead me to feel disappointed and missing so many opportunities in my life. So I'm going to talk about this topic, about this area, and how important it is in your life as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or a family who runs a businesses from home, or if you are a business owner or a company owner. It's very important that we work on this area in our entrepreneurial journey so we become aware of this habit, so we can transform our communication, so we can transform our productivity, so we can transform our focus, so we can transform our business, so we can transform our relationships, so we can transform our business. And I'm going to talk about some habits or rituals and a practice that I followed by replacing this habit, and after I replaced this habit, it transformed completely how I work, how I feel, how I'm being present with people, and it transformed my performance, it transformed my productivity, my focus. So why is it important for you to be a present or being present in the moment as entrepreneur? You see, when you are surrounded with people, when you are attending meetings or conferences or mastermind events or any personal development events, or when you have conferences or a meeting or a phone call, or when you are working with people, the reason why you need to make sure that you are in the present moment, because you shouldn't get distracted by so many other thoughts in your subconscious mind, daily thoughts or thoughts from your past. You shouldn't be distracted by them, because we need to be fully in the present moment so we can listen better, so we can communicate with the people around us, so we can fully listen to what is happening, what is going on, during our daily life. So when you are listening to the people around you, when you are being in the present moment, you are being better communicator. You are connecting with people around you in your environment. You are fully listening and learning and understanding what is going on or what is happening during any activity or event. So when we are not listening, because we are not being in the present moment. We are constantly letting distractions, noises prevent us from being in the present moment, from being listening, and from being listener. And when we are not listening to others, other people feel annoyed, other people feel frustrated. They feel like you're not listening to them, you're not paying attention to what they are saying. So it's very important that we want to be intentional when we are attending any activity, any event, when we are talking to people. And even our families, they would feel like they are ignored because you're not in the present moment and you're not listening to them. You're not showing your care, your love to them, because when you are not listening to them, you don't show care. You're not caring about what they are saying or what they are telling you. So this is very important skill that we need to make sure that we develop in our entrepreneurial life, because it's very important that we are living in the present moment and we are not getting constantly distracted by so many distractions or noises or thoughts that are preventing you from being in the present moment, from fully understanding and learning and listening. So this is a distraction. This is a bad habit, and we need to make sure that we replace this habit of being in the present moment, focusing on what is happening, focusing on others, focusing by listening to others. So whether you're an entrepreneur or a family who runs a business, or if you are a solopreneur, and whenever you are working on your business, whenever you need to focus on your projects, tasks, you need to be fully in the present moment, because you want to do an efficient work. You want to be productive. You want to get things done. You want to perform at your highest level. So when you are being in the present moment, you are fully focusing. You are laser focused, concentrating on your work, on what is important. So your mind is not somewhere else. You're not distracted by so many thoughts, noises. Your mind, your body is in the present moment. You know what you need to be working on. You know where you need to focus. And you know that you need to get that task, that project, that meeting, that phone call, that conference get done as soon as possible. But when you're letting this bad habit of not being in the present moment, of not listening, of not focusing, you are distracting yourself. You find yourself feeling disappointed, overwhelmed on how much time you have consumed, how much time, energy you have wasted, because you're not focusing. You're not in the present moment. Your body is physically in the present moment, but mentally you are absent. Your mind is somewhere else. You're thinking about past events, past activities, past people, past incidents. You're thinking about other things in your life, whereas you should be focusing on your business. You should be focusing on your health. You should be focusing on your relationships. You should be focusing on your family, on your love, on the loved ones. So when you are not focusing, when you're not being in the present moment, you're not doing good, efficient work. You're not being productive. You are just pacing yourself in a very slow pace, and you are distracting yourself, and you are preventing yourself from making progress, from getting work done, from following your time management, your schedule. See, I used to be my old self, when I used to be my old version, and oh my God, this bad habit was costing me, wasting so much time, so much energy. This bad habit was constantly costing me to waste so many learning, so many ideas, was costing me by impacting my communication, my relationships. This bad habit was costing me to miss so many opportunities. So, one of the bad habits and one of the areas that I struggled with is whenever I would work on my programming courses. I was studying programming and software development or computer science, and I needed to be in the present moment. I really needed to listen, to be a good listener. I really needed to be laser focused. So while I was taking those computer science courses, while I was studying programming, and while I would listen to a lecture, or I would read or write some logic code, or I would need to solve some code problems or bugs. So I found myself struggling a lot being in the present moment. You see, my eyes were on the computer, on the screen. My body was present with the courses, with the study. But my mind, my brain, my subconscious mind was constantly going somewhere else. I would try to read some logical code. I would try to solve a problem. I would try to listen to a lecture. I would do my best to try to read and write some code so I can complete my homework, so I can complete that task, that assignment. But I would find myself being controlled, being occupied, and felt like lose control of my thoughts. And I would struggle a lot in being in the present moment. And I would look at time, I would find myself, I have wasted hours on writing a few lines of codes. I would waste my golden hours reading code. I would waste my time being not present with my important work. I would find myself constantly going back to the past, thinking about past, thinking about people, what they said to me, what they told me, what they did to me, and not being fully present with my studies. So I failed with my programming courses, with software development, and I wasted months, even years during my studies because of this bad habit. And I could have completed those courses on time and make it to the deadlines. I could have done efficient work. I could have write good, efficient code. But that bad habit impacted my software development or computer science studies, and it costed me to waste years because I wasn't aware of this bad habit. I wasn't being fully present. I wasn't listening. I wasn't reading. So, another failure I had in my old job. I used to work at a Swedish private elementary school, and I've talked about my old job, about this school in my previous podcast episodes. And whenever I worked with teachers, I worked as student or teacher assistant. So whenever I attended any lesson in the classroom with the teacher, with the students, whenever I attended sport lessons in our sport hall, so the teachers would talk about and explain the subject for the students, but I wasn't being present. I wasn't fully listening to what the teacher or what the students were saying. So sometimes I found myself like, I don't know, 10, 15 or 20 minutes are gone, but I missed what they were saying. I missed what they were talking about. I missed what was the goal or the purpose of that lesson. So I would feel worried and anxiety or fearful, because if the teacher would ask me a question, or when the students would ask for help, like, I would tell myself, how the hell would I help them? How the hell would I be able to help them? Because I didn't listen. I wasn't fully listening. I wasn't being fully present in that lesson, in that classroom. So how would I be able to answer questions? How would I be able to help them both? And I would feel so fearful, because if they would ask me any question, or if they would ask any help, I would feel so fearful, so anxious, so embarrassed. Why? Because I wasn't being fully in the present moment. I wasn't fully listening. So I lost what they were saying. I lost the purpose of the lesson. So that bad habit was constantly making me feel disappointed, overwhelmed over myself. Same thing when I worked as teacher assistant with doing sport lessons with the sport teacher. Like, we would have a classroom, we would have the students sitting in front of us, and me and the other teacher were standing in front of the students, and the teacher would explain and provide information about the program, about the lesson for that particular sport lesson. He would explain all the drills, all the exercises, what needs to be done. So I found myself, I was constantly thinking somewhere else. I wasn't being fully present, and I would miss most of the information, most of the details of what the teacher said. And even when the students would ask questions, I wasn't being fully present. I wasn't fully listening to the students, and I didn't know what the hell was going on, what the hell was happening with myself. So, to be honest with you, I was feeling so worried, so fearful during the lesson, because whenever they ask me a question, whenever the students have a question about any detail about the lesson, I wasn't being able to help them. I wasn't being able to serve them, to support them, because I didn't know exactly what needs to be done. I didn't have so much details, so much idea about the lesson. I missed so much information. I missed so much details. And the teacher would explain the whole lesson, and the students would perform or execute all the instructions or what needs to be done, and I was the one who were just standing, watching, and I felt like I'm death. Like, I felt like I don't belong to that present moment. I don't belong to that lesson. And I felt like I'm not a part of this lesson, because I wasn't fully listening. I didn't listen. I didn't focus. I wasn't in a present moment. My bad habit prevented me from listening, from being fully present. So I missed the most important part of the lesson. So the students would perform or execute the whole lesson, and the teacher would lead the whole lesson, which it was a total of like 2 hours. Like, the duration of the lesson would be like a 2 hours, and I would just stand there and just watch. That's it. I couldn't explain. I couldn't help. I couldn't notice if whether they're doing drills or techniques or the exercises in the correct way or in the wrong way. But the teacher would correct them constantly. The teacher was able to answer their questions because he was in the present moment. And the students, they were same thing, in the present moment. I remember one day the teacher got angry at me, and he felt frustrated of me. Why? Because I remember one day he explained the sport lesson, the physical activity lesson to the students, But then he told me, okay, can you grab those equipments and put them in this form? And because I wasn't listening, because I wasn't in the present moment, I didn't really exactly know what to do. So I felt like speechless. I couldn't answer. I couldn't do what he told me to do. And he noticed that I didn't listen to those most important details or information about the lesson. And he told me, like, Muhammad, where were you? Why the hell you didn't listen to me? I just explained what to do. I just gave the instructions to the students on what needs to be done. Why the hell you didn't listen to me? Your brain was somewhere else. He told me, it's very important that you listen. It's very important that you are in the present moment whenever I'm explaining the lesson, because you need to help me. We need to help each other so we can lead this lesson and complete this lesson, because the students also needs our help. So I need you to be intentional. I need you to pay attention to what I'm saying. I need you to be in the present moment, and I really need you to focus on what I'm saying, because I have already planned the lesson, and if you are here but you're not helping me, that means you're wasting my time. I remember he even complained to my headmaster, to my boss at the school. I remember he had told them that I wasn't being fully in the present moment. I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. And I remember my boss, my headmaster, he moved me from that lessons. He moved me to somewhere else. He gave me another task. And he moved that task from my schedule, because he didn't think it was a convenient idea to have me in that sport lesson, because I wasn't listening, because of my damn bad habit. So same thing, I remember when I used to go to the gym and I would join CrossFit groups. I would train with CrossFit groups at my local gym. And before we would start and prepare our CrossFit weights, all the areas that we are going to train. So the trainer, he would gather the whole group, and he would have a whiteboard with a pen, and he or she would explain the whole training. He or she would explain all the exercises, all the training parts that needs to be done in 45 minutes. So the trainer was explaining exactly what we need to do, what needs to be done. But because I wasn't being in the present moment, because I wasn't fully listening and understanding, so after that trainer would end talking, and all the participants will start to put the weights, prepare the areas, the places, the machines that we're going to practice trains, like treadmill machines and other machines. But I would find myself feeling confused, like I didn't know what I need to plan, what I need to prepare, what to do, and I would constantly ask questions. And even I remember that trainer would notice that I wasn't being fully listening. I wasn't being fully in the present moment. I didn't pay attention to what they were explaining, what they were saying. I would find myself asking more questions, feeling confused, not knowing exactly what we are going to practice or train, where. And I remember that trainer got feeling anxious and frustrated about me. And I remember that woman, she reminded me one day before she would start explaining the CrossFit training. She would remind me that, Muhammad, I want you to be present. I want you to listen exactly and listen carefully to what I'm saying, so you don't miss the opportunity, so you don't miss any information or details. So I remember all those mistakes from my old self. I remember this bad habit, how much it was impacting me, how much it was making other people feeling frustrated, annoyed, and sometimes they would even feel disrespectful because I wasn't respecting their time and I wasn't listening to them. Even during the meetings or conferences at my old job at the school, the other teachers would sit and carefully listen, and they were fully present during the meeting, during the conference, and they were able to discuss, and they were able to communicate, to interact during the meeting, during the conference. They would answer questions, they would explain things, they would communicate with the headmaster or the person who was hosting the meeting or the conference, because they were all in the present moment. They understood the value of listening, and they understood that they need to be in the present moment, because otherwise, if they find themselves constantly thinking somewhere else or their mind is somewhere else, they wouldn't be present during the meeting, during the conference, and therefore they would feel annoyed and distracted and overwhelmed. So those teachers, those employees, they needed to fully listen during the meeting, during the conference, so they don't miss opportunities, so they don't miss any details. So they are making sure that they are fully listening, they are understanding and learning what is going on, what is happening, so they can perform their work, their jobs. So this is a bad habit. This is a very common bad habit that so many entrepreneurs, so many business owners, so many people who run businesses, they struggle with this habit. And it costs you to waste so much time to not fully being intentional and listening, and it costs you to waste so many opportunities and not understanding, not learning so many ideas, insights, strategies whenever you are attending any mastermind event or any personal development event, or when you have a Zoom call, or when you have a meeting with your other business colleagues, or with the people that you are involved with in your business, in your meetings. You're not fully understanding what they're saying, you're not learning, you're not getting values from that phone call, from that Zoom call, from that meeting, from that conference. And when you are not being in the present moment, you're not being interactive, you're not communicating, you're not able to support, to help, to contribute during that meeting, during that conference, because you are being distracted by your bad habit of not being in the present moment. And I remember also when I used to write articles or blogs, or when I would read books and articles, like my eyes, my brain were somewhere else. I found myself, my body was sitting in my workspace and reading or writing, but my brain would escape. My brain, my mind was going somewhere else. And I struggled a lot in focusing, in being laser focused, on concentrating on what is important. And reading one article or writing one article or a blog, I promise you, it took me like hours. I'm talking about a bad habit that was costing me hours. And when that bad habit was costing me to waste hours, imagine how many days, how many weeks, how many months I was wasting. If we compound, if we multiply those times. So You may don't realize it, but when you're not in the present moment, when you're not fully focusing, listening, you are wasting so much time, and this time will multiply to days, weeks, and even months you have wasted because you're not in the present moment. It's very important that we become in the present moment. So I remember while I was struggling with this bad habit of not being present with my thoughts, with my feelings, and I remember I talked to one of the teachers at my old job, one of the English subject teachers. I talked to him because that teacher was in charge of the library, the school's library, and he's the one who would tell students or give students articles, books, resources to practice, to read, to write, to learn. So he was in charge of this area. So I would ask him, I would tell him, like, I have this bad habit of not being able to be fully present, fully focused, fully listening or reading. And I told him it would take me at least 2 to 3 hours of reading one single article or writing one single article or a blog or just few pages of a book. And he felt shocked. I remember he looked at me with shocked face. He would tell me, what the hell? It takes you hours just to read, write, or just read, write some pages of a book or one single article or one single blog. He told me, man, there's something wrong with your focus. You have a bad habit. I told him why. He told me, my students, it would take them just simply like 30 or 40 minutes to read a whole article or like 5 to 10 pages of a book. And he told me I would give them a limited time to complete that task or that assignment or to read those pages of a book or to write or read that article. He told me I would give them a limited, a specified time, and they need to get it done as fast as possible. And he told me, you're wasting so much time, honestly. So I felt so embarrassed. I felt so disappointed about my bad habit. And I became aware of this habit. And I had to make a decision that I'm going to improve the skill, that I'm going to get better in this area, that I'm going to break this bad habit, replace it with a habit of being fully in the present moment. Whenever I talk to people, whenever I would hang out with friends, whenever I'm listening to my family, when I'm spending time with them, whenever I attend any meeting, any conference, any Zoom call, any event, any activity, I would practice this habit. I would remind myself, be in the present moment. Whenever my subconscious thoughts, whenever thoughts would show up from my past, from my daily life, I would keep practicing, reminding myself, be in the present moment. No, because when you are letting this bad habit control you, overwhelm you, you are programming your subconscious mind to be distracted mentally. You are losing your will to a bad habit of not being in the present moment. You are letting those thoughts of your past, of your daily life, control you instead of you control them. So you are letting your thoughts distract you, prevent you from being fully present when you are working in your business, to be fully present when you are needing to be productive, to be fully present when you need to focus during your work hours, during your training, during your routines, during spending time with your family. You need to practice being fully present. And I find myself that one of the practices or one of the rituals that helped me a lot in breaking that old bad habit and replacing it with a habit of being in the present moment. And this habit, it completely transformed my productivity, my focus, and my work performance. So what I started to do is I included these rituals of doing yoga and meditation and affirmation, where I'm implementing those practices like relaxation and mindfulness practices, and by repeating daily in my morning routine, in my evening routine, where I'm doing constantly meditation, yoga, and stretching, and I'm trying to relax my body. I'm trying to relieve my subconscious mind, my brain. I'm trying to calm down my body, so all those extra noises and thoughts will go away, will fade away. So every day I wake up in the morning after doing my training, after doing my workout, or whenever I'm going out taking a walk in the nature area, I would practice to calm down my thoughts. I would practice relaxing myself, relaxing my mind. I would remind myself, be in the present moment. I would become conscious of those unconscious thoughts, habits, feelings, emotions, and I would try to remove them from my body. I would keep remind myself, relax, calm down, rest, and I would do deep breathing exercises too, while working, while implementing my morning routine, while training at the gym, while taking outdoor walk in the nature area. I would constantly practice being relaxed. And after practicing this habit for a while, it took me a few months to start building this habit, to establish this habit in my life. I started to be more fully, more engaged, better communicator. I started to be laser focused. I started to be more present. So now, whenever I go to help that gymnastic sport club, I'm a volunteer in a gymnastic sport club. I help those people, those children, with their gymnastic training practices. So whenever the trainer or the leader would explain all the techniques, all the practices, all the exercise to the participants, I would keep practicing, remind myself, be in the present moment, be fully listener. And after practicing, I would find myself being intentional, being more focused, being better connected with that training. So every time the leader would explain all the exercise, I was fully listening, I was fully learning, I was fully understanding what is going on, what is happening in the present moment, and what needs to be done. So I was able to answer questions whenever the participants didn't know what to do or how to execute or perform a certain drill or a technique or exercise. So I would teach them, I would help them, because I was being fully present during the moment where the leader or the trainer would explain what needs to be done. So I would constantly remind myself to practice this habit, and I find myself I'm enjoying a lot. I find myself I'm making progress. I find myself that I'm showing respect to others by listening to them, by being fully engaged communicator and listener to them. And even people around me, they would enjoy being around me. They would enjoy talking to me. They would enjoy explaining things to me, because I would be laser focused on what they're saying. I would pay attention to all the information, all the details, all the tips that they are telling me or that they are saying. And I felt that there's a big difference in my life, because I started to enjoy being in the present moment. I started to enjoy understanding, learning, listening, and knowing exactly what is going on. Because doing meditation, yoga, and relaxation practices, it sharps your focus, it sharps your mind. You are a better thinker, you are a better problem solver, you are a better listener when you are practicing being in the present moment. So we need to make sure that we are isolating ourselves from our past and focusing on the present moment, focusing on our future, focusing on our health, focusing on our habits, focusing on our business, and not letting noises, distractions, thoughts in our subconscious mind prevent us from being healthier, from being more productive, from being laser focused on what is important. And I struggled in this area a lot before, where whenever I went to bed at night and I would need to start doing meditation or start doing visualization practice and visualize my future, visualize my goals, my dreams, the people that I'm going to help, support, and serve in the future. And before I started doing these practices, before I started to implement this ritual or these rituals, relaxation rituals, I would find myself constantly being occupied, controlled, and overwhelmed of so many thoughts from the day or from the past while laying down on the bed. And I would find myself struggling a lot in doing visualization practice. My mind was constantly everywhere. I would think about everything but not visualize, not being able to be in the present moment and calm down my thoughts and focus on my future. But after practicing, I started to feel there's a big difference. When I go to bed now, I don't have extra noises or distractions or thoughts in my subconscious mind, because I've been practicing this habit for a while and it started to work, and I see so much results since then. So now, whenever I'm going to bed, I'm feeling so happy, so relaxed, so relieved, and I'm constantly visualizing my future. And I would find myself suddenly, I started to sleep, and I wake up in the morning, I have gotten good, sufficient sleep, and I feel more energized, more activated in my brain. So this habit changed and transformed the quality of my work, of my business, where I'm able to work on my business, on my tasks, on my projects, getting things done, and improved the quality of my performance of my work. So I'm not distracting myself. I'm not slowing down my progress by not being fully present. Instead, when I'm being fully present, I'm more laser focused, I'm concentrated on my business, on my goals, on my dreams, on my health, being present with my family. So I feel like there's a big transformation in my own daily life. So start from today. Practice this habit. Start being fully in the present moment and show people that you are fully listening, that you are learning, that you are understanding, that you are knowing exactly what is happening or what is going on, and make it a habit where you are being fully in the present moment and you are being a good listener. So some people I find them that they are really good in this habit. Some people, they are really good in this skill. Particularly when I go to the church, and I would notice that the people who are sitting in the church, they are fully in the present moment. They are laser focused, concentrated on the preacher. They are listening, and I feel like their mind is not everywhere. So that's it. That's what I got for you in this episode. I hope you gained some knowledge. I hope you became aware of your habit, if you have this habit in your life, and I hope you will start to practice these rituals and practice by reminding constantly yourself about being in the present moment and being engaged and being fully listener, so it can transform your daily life, your business, your relationships, your entrepreneurial life as well. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and I can't wait to publish a new episode. Bye everyone.